Welcome, everybody, to Intensity Broadcasting's live coverage of the SCSRA truck season finale. My name is Josh Hall. Thanks for joining us here on iRacing tonight for the season finale and the last race of our truck doubleheader for a little while on Tuesday nights. Right now we have practice just wrapping up. We got about a minute and a half left in practice. We see Joe Wright rocking the intensity colors here in the season finale. Let's take a look at your points coming into tonight. And Devin Bacino is currently the points leader, 13 points over Kyle Mays. Joe Wright sits back in third, mathematically still in it. Then Michael Provo, Logan Hagerman, Dave Wright, Brian Roll Jr., Isaiah Gill, Matthew Scott, and Bobby Mays round out your top 10 playoff drivers. And Eddie Morris, the first truck not in the playoffs, sitting back in 11th. Brian Nudie in 12th. We all know he missed a bunch of races, so he's not going to be out there tonight. Or in the points, I should say, tonight. So as we got just a few minutes before qualifying gets underway, again, we want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight and joining us here on Intensity. Again, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Let us know who you're rooting for tonight. So we see Colin Willems out on track, currently fourth fastest. Devin Bacino currently fastest on track in practice. Logan Hagerman not too far behind. Kyle Mays sitting back in second. He's third fastest. So a lot of speed out of your top guys tonight. We'll have to see how this plays out tonight. This qualifying is just about ready to get underway. Homestead, Miami, a nice 1.5 mile track. Oval shaped. Progressive banking, and you can kind of see from the track map, the two corners do look a little bit different, as turns 1 and 2 are a little more sweeping. Turns 3 and 4, there is a little bit tighter radius off of turn number 4, so you do have to run these two corners completely different, and we'll see that tonight as these drivers take on this tricky track. First driver we have out on track is Zachary Cox, running that Glory to Ukraine truck, which I think is an awesome tribute tonight to see on that truck. See Zachary currently second fastest on the board. Sorry, I had something in the chat I had to take care of. Zach running that real high lane, which is one of the ways you can get around the track here. You can run the apron, not on the apron, but down on the white line, like you see Zach doing right here through turns 3 and 4. You can run high up against the wall. You can run the middle of the track. So this track has got a lot of room that you can run. The only thing you have to watch out for is Zachary currently up on pole. When we take a look at Brian Nudie just coming out onto the track. The only real tough part of this track is coming off of turn number 2. There's a big bump. That bump can really upset the truck and get it out of shape. And yes, the trucks have been redesigned. You have the new look that you have in the 2022 truck series. All three trucks have a little different shape to them, a little more looking like the trucks that you actually see on the street. So you notice a little bit more square bumper, kind of jets out at the bottom. So it's neat that iRacing went ahead and updated these trucks to the current specs. A couple of the paint jobs might be a little out of whack, but not everybody had a chance to redo their paint jobs for tonight. See Brian Nudie working that low lane through turns 3 and 4. I forgot to put the tower on the screen. Brian Nudie jumps to the top of the board with a 33.40. As he comes off of turn number 2, right there is a bump, right as you come off the corner. And that bump can really upset the truck, so we'll watch tonight, all night long, as these guys come side by side off of turn number 2. And we'll see if anybody catches that bump wrong. We did see a couple drivers in practice have some issues with it, so we'll see if that plays into the race here tonight. Brian Nudie currently up at the top of the board, 33-27. Your second in points, Kyle Mays coming out on track. That Mays Construction Ford F-150. As Kyle's going to choose to run that highlight. Oh, you see it getting loose there in the corner. That's going to kill his run here. He's going to stop and reset so he gets an opportunity to retake that lap. See Todd Mays and that Tennessee truck. No, that truck doesn't have damage on the nose. That's just part of the update. Well, the driver's not being able to get that truck updated in time. As Todd goes up, smacks the wall hard. And that's going to end his qualifying attempt here. Let's see who else is out on track. Kyle Mays coming back out on track. Kyle Mays takes the white flag here on his qualifying attempt. They did count his first lap, so this will be his money lap here as he's up high against the wall, trying to get as much speed out of that truck as he can. And running that seam there through turns 3 and 4, trying to keep that truck wound up, get as much speed off as he can. Much better exit of the corner here as he comes to the checker flag. And Kyle Mays is going to move up into the 5th position. Logan Hagerman out on track. Coming to take the white flag here. See what he's able to do on his first lap. Moves up to 2nd. Running that low lane through turns 1 and 2. Down the long backstretch. And Kyle Mays did get a 2nd lap, and he's currently 2nd fastest. So what Logan's able to do here as he comes across the line. Logan Hagerman is going to bump Brian Nudie off the pole with a 33.19. The only driver who might be able to get out there and better him is the 68 of Bacino, who's just coming off of pit road. See Eddie Morris run that high lane here. He's already taken his white flag here, coming down the backstretch. Comes off of turn number 4. And across the line, and Eddie Morris is going to shoot up into 2nd. So a great lap for Eddie. Bacino just took the green flag for his first of 2 laps. Pacino comes across the line to take the white flag. His first lap is going to put him right up on the pole with a 33.17. See what he's able to improve here on his second lap. Just for bragging rights, see if he can get up there as well. Off of turn number 4. Ooh, a little loose out of that 68 machine. And that's going to absolutely kill his lap time, but that's all right. Currently on pole. Is there anybody who can knock him off the pole? We see Joe Wright. Making his way down the backstretch. The only Toyota in the field here tonight. Oh, gets really loose there off of turn number 4. Able to hold on to it, though. Fortunately, that's going to kill his lap, and he's going to stay back in that 8th position. As we see Sylvan out on track right now. Up into the wall off of turn number 4. That's going to disallow his time, and he's going to sit there in the 11th position. Two drivers yet to qualify. I don't know if they're not going to have any time. That's Will Witt and Colin Willems. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence also did not get a qualifying lap as he had a spin in qualifying. So we're going to take a look at our starting grid. And Devin Pacino in the 68 will be your pole sitter tonight, with Logan Hagerman rolling off P2 in the 7 machine. Eddie Morris in the 8, he'll be rolling off 3rd with Brian Nudie in the 4th position. Back in 5th, we'll find the 55 of Kyle Mays. And Zachary Cox in the 6th position. Brian Merle Jr., he'll be rolling off in 7th, with Joe Wright back in the 8th position. 9th will belong to the 95 of Michael Provolt, and rounding out the top 10 will be the 84 of Dave Wright. Silas Seguin, he'll be rolling off 11th, with Blake Hensley back in the 12th position. 13th, Todd Mays and Colin Willems in 14th, and in the 8th row, your final row, will be the 35 of Will Witt and the 47 of Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. As we get ready for 100 laps here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Twitter at IntensityBroad1. And check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com, where you can find hats, t-shirts, mouse pads, coffee mugs, of t-shirts of all your favorite Intensity Broadcasting leagues, as well as Intensity Broadcasting itself. So you can check that out. That's intensitybroadcasting.com as the field starts rolling. And Brian Newey looks like he's going to take an EOL to start the race. Going to fall back to the tail end of the field. It's going to move everybody up one spot on that high side. Devin Pacino, Logan Hagerman, getting ready to start this here at Homestead Miami. Trying to find the best view for this start. Chino pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Chino's going to lead him down to the starting zone. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at Homestead in a great side-by-side battle already as Logan Hagerman backs out of it just a little bit in order to get through the corner. Zach Cox right there on the high side, right behind Logan as the field makes their way off of turn number 2 for the first time and down the backstretch. Right now, everybody just kind of side-by-side, feeling everything out at the moment. Chino just looking to have a good run here and stay ahead of Kyle Mays to lock up the championship here tonight as we complete lap number 1. Eddie Morrison, Zachary Cox side by side for third. Zach ran that extreme high line. Almost gets up into the wall. So we see Joe Wright shuffling around there in the middle of the back. And now Logan Hagerman has caught Chino up on that high side. And he's going to try to take away the lead as they make their way down into turn number 1. Hagerman up on the high side. He's going to get that position. Putting Pacino back into second. And here comes Kyle Mays down on the bottom. Kyle knows he's got to beat Pacino by a few positions as they're 3 wide off of turn number 2. Pacino way down on the bottom. Kyle Mays in the middle. Eddie Morris up on the high side. And Pacino now 3 wide with Zach Cox and Joe Wright. Joe gets a little loose there into the corner. Again, we know Pacino's got a little bit of a points buffer here. So he's just trying to save right now. I know he told me before the broadcast that the fuel window is about 33 laps. And it's a 100-mile race, so he may be trying to save a little bit of fuel. We just saw a big wiggle out of Joe Wright as he falls backwards. Let's take a look at what happened to Joe Wright here. Whoops. Let's rewind. Sorry, I was on the wrong right for a second. See Joe get down into the corner. And a big moment there for that 82 machine. Now he's trying to claw his way back up to the front. Eddie Morris and Kyle May side by side for the second position. Eddie showing some speed here in the early part of this run. And another driver out of the championship hunt, just trying to get a win here tonight for bragging rights as he's going to take over that second position. And Logan Hagerman continues to lead here at Homestead. Tight off of turn number 2 as Kyle Mays tries to use a little side draft, but thought about falling back in line behind Eddie, but now he's going to try running that low side yet again. Eddie's making that high lane work right now as he comes off of turn number 4, and he's going to take that position away. A little further back, we saw a low battle for position back here amongst teammates. Brian Merle Jr. was just all over the back bumper of Devin Pacino, but backing off just a little bit. See the 82 of Joe Wright battling with Colin Willems. Now Joe's going to look down to the inside of the 17. Ooh, catches the apron just a little bit, washes up the track. Will Witt right there as well, running that high side, and Witt's going to try to take that position away from Joe. Back up front. Now for the lead is heating up as Eddie Morris has figured out that high line. And he gets a good run here on the back bumper of Logan Hagerman. Hagerman's going to run the middle here. We know Eddie is going to run that top lane. Kyle Mays, though, looking down underneath. They're side by side again for that second position. Oh, and Eddie Morris catches the wall. He's going to lose a ton of positions here as he slides back. He's going to fall all the way back Comes Joe Wright trying to take over ninth, and Colin Williams back in 10th. So Eddie falling all the way from 2nd to 10th by catching the wall there. Let's take a look at the right side of that truck. Doesn't look like too much damage to that 8 machine, so he should be able to continue on as Kyle Mays now trying to take the lead from Logan Hagerman up on the high side. Hagerman down on the low side. As this battle continues for the lead. Oh, Hagerman pushes up the track just a little bit. That's going to squeeze Kyle up. Oh, Logan gets loose off of turn number 4. Able to hold on to it, though. And Kyle Mays is going to take over the lead. Now, Devin Buccino currently back in the 4th position. Gives you a great view of all the different lines that these drivers are running. No two drivers really running the same line right now. Colin Willems trying to get around Eddie Morris. Eddie getting pushy up on that high lane. See Joe Wright right in front as well as Joe's trying to claw his way back up towards the front. Brian Nudie now taking a look down underneath Will Witt, trying to take away the 11th position. He's going to take that position away. Ooh, big wiggle out of the 17 of Colin Willems, able to hold on to it. And we've seen it all night long. Drivers getting a little loose in the corner as Logan Hagerman's got Zachary Cox trying to take away the 2nd position. Again, Zachary running a very special paint scheme. He asked his painter to put the Ukrainian flag on his paint job tonight, and instead did quite a bit more. As we see on the side of that truck and on the front, it says "Glory to Ukraine" in both Ukrainian and in English. So great looking paint job tonight on that 51. We got a battle shaping up back here. A bunch of trucks all in line trying to make some moves. Eddie Morris trying to get himself back up to the front. He's caught Michael Provolt. Will Witt looking down to the inside. Now Will really loose there. Going to allow Brian Nudie to get underneath. They're going to be, almost was 3 wide. Will decided to back out of it. Eddie now looking down to the inside. Michael Provolt trying to take over the 8th position. So Will Witt almost up into the wall, using that Kyle Larson line, if you will, trying to get as close to that wall as he can, trying to get all the momentum. And when you get up against the wall that close, there's actually a cushion of air between you and the wall. It helps keep that car going straight, or that truck going straight. So we're seeing Eddie use that big, Will use that big air cushion. As this group of trucks right here, all under a blanket, with Dave Wright leading the pack. A little bump there out of Proville onto Dave Wright. Homestead, not normally a track where you see some bump drafting, but Brian Nudie able to take advantage of all that. Now they're going to be 3 wide. Will Witt down on the bottom. Provolt up on the high side. Tucked down in. And you see Uncle Todd Mays making his way up through the field as well. Field's starting to spread out a little bit. This would be a great time to do one of my little favorite segments that we like to call Pump Up the Intensity. Great to hear those trucks at full song. Zachary Cox falling back a little bit on this run. Might be trying to save some tires, might be trying to save some fuel. I think that's what Devin Buccino was doing earlier as well, saving a little bit of fuel. Trying to get themselves to the end on just 2 stops. So far, pretty clean, no cautions. One driver who's really struggling is the 8 of Eddie Morris. Looks like a little more damage to the right side of that truck. Next time he comes by, we'll take a look at that right side if we can. Just running along there with Blake Hensley. Yeah, you see the damage there behind the right front tire. So unfortunate for Eddie, who was so strong the early part of the race, falling back to the 14th position. Devin Buccino now trying to chase down Logan Hagerman. Again, Buccino's got a points lead. He's got about a double check the points coming into tonight. So Buccino did have a 13-point lead over Kyle Mays. So even if Kyle gets the bonus points for a clean race, a lap led, most laps led, Buccino's really only have to finish 8th or better to win the championship here tonight. So Buccino trying to run a smart race, knows the situation, knows where he's got to be at the end. Again, 100 laps, a lot of time for something to happen. Buccino's going to look down to the inside of Logan Hagerman. Hagerman, though, running that a little bit higher lane. He gets a little better run off the corner, but we see that truck really push up off the corner. That's allowed Buccino to get down underneath and take over the 2nd position. Now he's got about a second, just over a second to the 55 of Kyle Mays. Let's take a look at Kyle. Let's see where he's running on the track. We know where Buccino's running, right down on that white line. Kyle running right down on the white line through turns 3 and 4. And I believe he's running the high lane through turns 1 and 2. As you see the interval back to Devin Bacino, yeah, he's running a little bit more in the middle through turns 1 and 2. Right down on the white line through turns 3 and 4. And Bacino's now cut that lead to under a second. You see Bacino's slowly running a little bit quicker times than Kyle Mays as well, so slowly gaining on that 55 machine. While that's been going on, look who's quietly moved themselves up into the third position. That's the 40 of Brian Nudie. Just got around Logan Hagerman. And Hagerman's truck does not look happy right now. He's lost the lead. He's fallen all the way back to 4th. Is in danger of losing the 4th position to Brian Merrill Jr. Junior having a good run too, sitting back in the 5th position. He's quietly having a good run, up 2 spots from where he started. Started 7th. So Junior. And that McKinleyville Barbershop machine really putting together a solid run today, as we're just 30 laps of 100. And from our calculations given to us, we should start seeing pit stops within the next 2 or 3 laps. And Devin Bacino has caught Kyle Mays just before pit stops. So that's going to be a battle. Who can get on and off pit road the best? Eddie Morris, the first truck, hit pit road. Dave Wright down on pit road as well. As Kyle Mays passes pit road, Bacino does as well. And Zachary Cox is the next car or truck to come down pit road. So let's see if Kyle makes his way down onto pit road this time. He will. So now the 55 machine down on pit road along with the 40 of Brian Nudie. Joe Wright trying to get slowed down to pit road speed. He will. Todd Mays, Will Witt, Blake Hensley all on pit road. So Devin Bacino may have saved a little fuel here. It looks like he's still trying to save a little bit. See if he comes down pit road this time. Oh, he's going to pass pit road, so he's going to go at least one more. So Bacino falling back at the start, trying to save a little bit of fuel. And it looks like that strategy is working out in his favor right now. You see Kyle Mays coming off a pit road behind him. So now it's going to be all about how well Devin Bacino can get on and off of pit road. Now Bacino down on the pit road. Gets slowed down and he's going to come down to get his service done. The very last pit stall here. Take a look at the track map as well to see where the 55 is in comparison to where Bacino is. Kyle just coming off of turn number 4. And Bacino's going to be down and away. Now he's going to take that access road to get back onto the track. There goes Kyle Mays right on by. When it's all said and done, there goes Kyle Mays, there goes Zachary Cox. Bacino looks like he's going to come off in 3rd. Joe Wright right there in the 4th spot behind. And Joe on those fresh tires is going to be able to drive right on by as he's got his tires up to temperature already. And it's going to take another lap or two before Bacino really has his tires up temperature. But Bacino also maybe trying to save a little fuel here on this run. So that he can push hard on the final run. Kyle Mays, though, out in front all by himself with a 2.5 second lead over Zachary Cox. Then Joe Wright sitting back in 3rd. Bacino cycles out in 4th, and Logan Hagerman cycles out in the 5th position, but he's got Colin Willems and Brian Nudie doing battle right behind him. So Nudie's going to take a look down to the low side of Colin Willems. But Willems is going to hold on to that 6th position. Now Willems trying to take away that 5th position from Logan Hagerman. Was just on the back bumper and falls off just a little bit. See if he's able to get a good run here off of turn number 2. Did see Michael Cheeseburger have some issues here. See what happened to Cheeseburger. As he was coming, got a lot of damage to that machine. And just pushing too hard, trying to get back on track. Drove over through the grass, and not really sure what happened to Cheeseburger there. But a lot of damage to that machine. It looks like his night might be done. So Kyle Mays continues to lead. He's pulling away from 2nd place Zachary Cox. The driver who's in the middle of having a pretty good run right now is Joe Wright in that intensity machine, who's reeling in Zachary Cox and pulling away from Devin Bacino. Great view off the right side of this truck as he's chasing down Zach Cox, and you can see the speed difference between these two drivers. Joe's trying to catch up. Logan Hagerman now in a battle with Devin Bacino. Hagerman up to the high side, Bacino down on the low side. And I think Bacino's just doing again what we were talking about earlier, saving fuel. He is currently the slowest car on the track. Let's listen along with Devin, see how much he's saving here. Off the throttle for a very long time. Back to the throttle ever so gently. And yeah, that's what the sound of saving fuel is. And that's what he's got to do to win this championship. All he's got to do is finish at least within 6 points of 6 positions of Kyle Mays. Back up towards the front, Joe Wright is continuing to run down Zachary Cox. Although that time by, Zachary was the fastest truck on the track. So that's going to let him pull away from Joe just a little bit. Bacino now. Looks like he's starting to put some lap times back down. As he is now running just as fast as Logan Hagerman and Colin Williams behind. And we are 5 laps away from halfway. Let's take you through the field as Kyle Mays continues to lead here. Over second place, Zachary Cox in that Ukrainian Glory to Ukraine truck. Joe Wright stalking Cox right now. Currently in the 3rd position, running down that 51 machine. Then Logan Hagerman running back in 4th. Your pole sitter, Devin Bacino, in the 5th position. And your points leader, trying to do what he can to win a championship tonight. Colin Williams, just here to play spoiler, as it says in his profile here. Running back in the 6th position. Not the points leader, Brian Nudie back in the 7th position. And we'll find Brian Merle Jr. sitting back in 8th. The SCSRA All-Star winner, which next Wednesday night we will have the SCSRA All-Star race from Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Riley prototypes. It'll be a blast. It'll be a fun one. Some cars you normally don't see running an oval on the oval. So check that out next week. Then back in 9th, we have the 25 of Todd Mays. And beyond Uncle Todd is the 31 of Blake Hensley. Will Witt just solidly holding on back in 11th. Sylvan Seguin back in the 12th position. And Eddie Morris, who started up front, still hasn't fixed that damage to the right side of his truck. He continues to run back in the 13th position. Michael Provolt in 14th. Then David Wright runs in 15th. And Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, as we mentioned, has retired from the race. And we just had a pass for 2nd place as we take a look here. See Joe Wright getting around Zach here, and then Zach trying to fight back on the high side. And now we're going to go back to this battle because these two are still battling at it as Joe has gotten back around Zach, but Zach was just trying to fight back on the low side. Joe took that position away. Now Joe currently in the 2nd position and starting to pull away from Zach a little bit. So when Kyle Mays comes across the line this time, it will be cross flags on the stand. We'll be at the halfway point of this race. We'll also be about 15 laps away from green flag pit stops again. Little battle shaping up back here as Colin Williams was just looking to the outside of Devin Bacino. Williams trying to get a good run here down the backstretch, but not quite able to close in on that 68 of Devin Bacino. Bacino now looking down to the inside of Logan Hagerman, and this group has caught the 51 of Zachary Cox as well. So slide Buccino up into the third position as we got 3 wide racing. At the same time, these drivers are coming up on the lap truck of Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, who has left pit road. He's after getting damage fixed. Currently about 15 laps down. We'll see at the top of the counter as the ticker comes by, seeing where he's at. Yep, 15 laps down. And Joe right now falling backwards into the clutches of Devin Buccino. So Buccino really has that long run speed figured out. As we've seen him fall back on starts and the short runs. And ends up being right there towards the end of the long run as he's challenging Joe Wright for that second position. Great view down the backstretch here at Homestead. And Joe's going to have to tuck in behind Devin Buccino into the third position. Colin Willems finds himself underneath the 7 of Logan Hagerman. 2 fellow countrymen up in Canada fighting for the 4th and 5th position. And Brian Nudie just kind of hanging out there as well, back in the 6th position. And there you go, Colin Willems falling back now to Brian Nudie, and Joe Wright now has a mirror full of Logan Hagerman. So move Hagerman up into the third position as Joe Wright starting to fall back a little bit after that, showing some early run speed. And now Joe Wright's got the 17th Colin Willems all over the back bumper now as well. Devin Buccino just holding steady with Kyle Mays. A little bit faster than Mays is right now, but still has 2 seconds to get back to the lead. As we are about 5 or 6 laps away from green flag pit stops. So Kyle Mays won the opening race of the season. Pretty consistent throughout the whole season. One at Daytona, one at Chicagoland. And now Kyle Mays trying to win here at at Homestead, Miami. Devin Bacino and Kyle Mays both with 2 wins apiece. But Bacino being a little more consistent up front. And that's why he's holding on to that points lead over Kyle Mays, as Brian Nudie is now catching Logan Hagerman trying to take over the 3rd position. Right behind Brian Merle Jr. and Joe Wright going at it. This is for 6th and 7th. Jr. not able to complete the pass. Logan Hagerman starting to pull away from Brian Newton just a little bit, and Devin Bacino has finally cut that lead to under 2 seconds, but again, we're just a few laps away from green flag pit stops. As Bacino told me in the pre-race, it looks like about 33 laps of fuel is a green flag run. Bacino was able to stretch his first run. He came down on lap 34 in pit. Kyle Mays pit early on lap 32, so that means that if we're using the same pit strategy, Kyle Mays will be coming down, not this time, but next time on lap 64. Eddie Morris just hit pit road for his first stop. Again, I imagine we'll see this 55 machine hit pit road this time by. Which means Devin Bacino is going to be able to stay out 2 laps longer. And if we continue to go green, that means that Kyle Mays is not going to have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. Well, it looks like Kyle Mays is going to skip pit road this time. He's going to go at least 1 more lap. Brian Nudie, Zach Cox, Sylvan Seguin all on pit road. And that lead is shrinking as Kyle Mays has incredibly slowed down here. And I think he realized what the fuel mileage looked like. And he's slowed down almost 2 seconds a lap. We'll have to see if Devin Bacino is going to follow suit. Joe Wright, Todd Mays, Michael Proval all on pit road. Will Witt hits pit road as well. Right now, it's all about what these 2 drivers up front are planning on doing as far as pit strategy. As Kyle Mays peels off, Devin Bacino stays out on pit road. Kyle Mays almost locks up the rear tires, trying to get slowed down. So Bacino now, your leader yet again. And Bacino showing that pit strategy can really pay off here, as he's been able to stay out longer than anybody else. I believe he's going to stay out another lap here. He is. So Devin Bacino, the only truck left to pit. It looks like the 68 truck will be coming down pit road on lap 68 to get his final service and fuel. And here comes Devin down onto pit road, nice and easy. Logan Hagerman has been on pit road for quite a while. Oh, he just made his way off of pit road. We see Buccino come down to his stall. Easy in. That's going to allow Brian Nudie, currently running in second place. And as they come off of across the stripe, he is going to pass Devin Buccino. Devin Buccino has just left pit road. But you can see here the difference between these two drivers. As Brian Nudie comes past us, you see Devin Buccino leaving pit road. Down on the bottom. Oh, almost some contact between Dave Wright and Zachary Cox. Dave Wright is a lap down. Currently running back in the 14th position. And now Kyle May is running in second. Devin Buccino running back in fifth. So mathematically, Buccino is still in the points lead with just 30 laps to go. So I'll take you through the field yet again right after pit stops here. Brian Nudie is now your leader in that 40 machine as he comes across the stripe to complete lap number 70. Kyle Mays, second in points, running second on the track. Coming into the race, he was 13 points behind Devin Buccino. Led a few laps, keeping it clean, so he's trying to keep into that points lead to try to steal the championship away. Colin Willems trying to just play spoiler and win the race, currently back in the third position. Then Zachary Cox in that Ukraine machine back in the fourth position. Devin Buccino, your points leader, currently running in fifth. And Joe Wright in the Intensity Broadcasting truck in the sixth position. Brian Merrill Jr. started seventh, currently running seventh. With Todd Mays started in the back, currently in the eighth position. Logan Hagerman, your biggest loser of the race so far, down 7 positions into the 9th position. And Blake Hensley running in the top 10. So it's going to start 11th, running in 11th. Michael Provolt in the 95 Fortuna Iron Machine, back in 12th. And actually our biggest loser of the race so far is the 8 of Eddie Morris. About to go a lap down. Not sure if he finally took the damage, got the damage repaired on that 8 machine. So he's going to let the leaders run right on by. We'll take a look at the right side of the truck as he comes by this time. And nope, still the damage on that 8 machine. And Dave Wright currently running back in 14th, and Will Witt on pit road. Well, looks like some damage to the right side of that truck as well. And currently 8 laps down. And we got a bit of a battle heating up here at the front. Kyle Mays has Colin Willems looking down underneath him. Ooh, almost some contact between those two drivers as we saw Willems get a little loose underneath that 55. But no matter, they're running down the 40 of Brian Nudie. We have, next time by, we'll have just 25 laps to go. Colin Willems looking down underneath Kyle Mays, trying to take over that second position. He's going to take that position away. And now Colin Williams is going to set his sights on Brian Nudie. Again, trying to play spoiler, trying to get the win here. And every position that they gain on Kyle Mays, that's taking points away from him. So he's trying to chase down this championship. But Devin Bacino running solidly in the 4th position, holding on to that points lead at the moment. Let's remind you of the points coming into tonight, your top 5, all mathematically in the championship chase. And Buccino, with that 13-point lead coming in, all he has to do is maintain that over Kyle Mays. Kyle Mays can win the race. Buccino just has to finish 8th or better. Right now, that's exactly what Devin Buccino's doing, is he's currently running in the 4th position, about 4 seconds behind Kyle Mays. Brian Merle Jr. looking down to the inside of Joe Wright. And Joe's going to fall back into the 7th position. Is now Jr. looking around Zach Cox. Here comes Joe, though. Thought he was battling back with Merle. Now he's right there on the back bumper of the 74. Caught the apron just a little bit. That's going to push him back as they are side by side. It's a great battle for the 6th position as Joe Wright is going to fall back behind the 51. A lot of damage to the right side of that 51 machine. Looks like Zachary was up into the wall. And that's going to make easy work of that 51 machine as Joe Wright's going to be able to motor right on by. Colin Williams starting to cut down into Brian Nudie's lead. Kyle Mays right there as well. Devin Bacino 4 seconds behind, and again, just trying to run his race, trying to run a smooth race and get himself a championship here in the inaugural SCSRA Truck Series. Leaders are coming up on the lap truck of Blake Hensley. Blake's going to move up to the high side, let the leaders right on by. And Colin is right there on the back bumper of Brian Nudie. Nudie's able to get into the corner so much better, but down the back stretch in the front stretch, that draft is so strong it's allowing Colin to pull right back up. And Colin seems to be a little bit stronger off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. So he was taking a look down to the inside, but not able to quite make anything happen just yet. And while that's going on, we have Kyle Mays right behind Colin Williams, trying to do the same thing. These 3 trucks you could throw under a blanket as they come up on the lap truck of Michael Provolt Jr. Michael Provolt. And now Colin's going to look down to the inside of Nudie. Is Provolt going to play pick here? As Nudie falls all the way back to 3rd, Kyle Mays moves around as well. And Colin Williams takes over the lead. And when they come across stripe this time by, we'll have just 15 laps to go. he's starting to fade just a little bit last time by. He might be trying to save a little bit of fuel. These guys might figured out that they're going to be just a little bit short. And last time by, Brian Nudi ran a 35.41. Devin Machino ran a 34.2. So we'll have to see if these guys are a little short on fuel as they're coming around the 84 of Dave Wright. Kyle Mays continues to try to chase down that 17 machine. Joe Wright trying to chase down Brian Merle Jr. It's a battle that's kind of been brewing all race long. They've been going back and forth, and right now, Joe trying to chase down that 74. Up front, Colin Willems still being stalked by Kyle Mays, running in the tire marks. A couple drivers have hit pit road. Eddie Morris just entered pit road. Tells me that 8 was going to be just a little short on fuel. Makes me wonder who else is just a little short on fuel here, as we've gone green flag from the beginning. Just 12 laps to go. Devin Bacino trying to get around Brian Nudi, trying to get onto the podium here into the 3rd position. Quite a bit behind Kyle Mays, 3.5 seconds. And with 11 laps to go, I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to chase those two down and get the win unless they run out of fuel. Again, we don't know what the fuel situation is on these two trucks. They were both last on pit road on lap 66. Devin Bacino last hit pit road on lap 68. He was the last truck to hit pit road, so we know he's got plenty of fuel. Logan Hagerman was last on pit road on lap 67. So we know he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. The question is, Colin Willems, Kyle Mays, Brian Merle Jr., Joe Wright, Todd Mays, all these drivers, Zachary Cox, all these drivers that pit earlier, are they going to have enough fuel to make it to the end? We'll find out as we have just 10 laps to settle it here. Joe Wright getting around Brian Merle Jr., move him up into the top 5. Well, Merle's fighting back on that high side. Almost pushes up into the wall, and Joe's going to have the advantage coming off of turn number 4. So move Joe Wright up into the 5th position. So top 5 for your 3rd in points. Back up front, Colin Willems continues the lead as he's coming up on the lap truck of Sylvain Seguin to put him another lap down. Colin using a little bit of draft here, trying to save as much fuel as he can. See if he can make it to the end. Someone's going to move up out of the way. Allow these two trucks on by. 7 laps to go at the line. Michael Provolt hits pit road for a splash and go, so he's not going to be able to make it to the end. Tight racing back here between the lapper of Sylvan and Kyle Mays. And Kyle hoping something happens to Devin Buccino that would get Kyle Mays the championship here. Colin Williams continues to pull away now from Kyle Mays. I think Kyle Mays has realized what happened. He's slowed down incredibly. They're running, both him and Colin Williams are running sub 35, or I'm sorry, 35-second laps. Devin Buccino just ran a 34.6. So almost a half a second lap faster for Devin Buccino. And he's showing it right now. He's actually pulled back within a second and a half of those two. Now, he was almost 5 seconds behind. Joe Wright, Zachary Cox both hitting pit road now. Logan Hagerman just left pit road. So the only driver out there who we know doesn't have to save fuel. And you can see just how quickly he's catching those leaders in front. Now that's Sylvan Seguin right in front of Buccino, and we can see as he goes around, that's Kyle Mays and Colin Williams out in front. And Buccino's now cut that lead to just under a half a second as we take a look at the lap times here. And Buccino putting down some laps right now, catching up to the front two to put some pressure on those drivers out front. Again, can these guys up front with just 3 laps to go, can they make it to the end on fuel? I know they're slowing down, but is there a possibility they can make it to the end? I know, looks like Colin Williams about a second out in front of Kyle Mays now, but Kyle's about to get passed by Buccino for that second position. And Kyle Mays is watching his championship hopes slide away. So here comes Buccino down to the inside. Buccino's going to take away that second position. Oh, Buccino gets a little loose there. Now he's going to pull right in front of Kyle Mays, and now Kyle Mays doing everything he can just to hold on to second place in the points. White flag is in the air. Colin Williams has just 1 lap to go. He's got a second lead over Devin Buccino. And Buccino's just pulled a second on Kyle Mays. Kyle Mays might be out of fuel. Kyle Mays is slow. That truck is off. Kyle Mays is out of fuel on the backstretch. That's going to give Devin Buccino. Colin Williams is out of fuel. Buccino is going to come off at turn number 4. Buccino is going to win the race and the championship here in the SCSRA inaugural truck season. Kyle Williams comes across the line in second. Brian Merle Jr. Gets turned. Wow. Wow, Brian Merle Jr. comes across the line in third and goes for an absolute wild ride there at the finish. Kyle Mays comes home fourth, and Logan Hagerman is going to come home in fifth. But right now, it's all about your winner and your champion, driver of the 68, Devin Buccino. Does he have enough fuel in the tank to do a little burnout here? It's the second race tonight. Our first race came down the fuel mileage, and the leader didn't have enough gas in the tank to do a burnout. Bacino, though, able to save plenty of fuel to burn it down here, getting his third win of the season. And his championship here. In the chat, Bailey Cross says, "Let's go, Dev. I want my chips with the dip." Henry Napoleon Sanchez says, "Let's go. No gas in the tank." Bailey says, "That's my champion, baby. Come on now." Devin Pacino got to work on those burnouts, though. He does need to work on that. No, he did a good burnout. He's excited. He's the champion. And he can do whatever burnouts he wants to do. You see everybody else doing some burnouts here, and that is one happy driver right there. Let's take a look at the rest of the results. And again, Devin Bacino comes home with the win and the championship. Colin Willems comes home second. Brian Merle Jr. comes home in third. Kyle Mays and Logan Hagerman round out your top five. Brian Nudie comes home sixth. Joe Wright comes home in seventh. Then Zachary Cox, Blake Hensley, and Sylvan Seguin round out your top 10. Todd Mays round out your top 10. Sylvan Seguin comes home 11th. Michael Provolt in 12th. Eddie Morrison 13th. Dave Wright, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, and Will Witt round out the rest of the field tonight. But it's all about the 68 of Devin Bacino here, as he is one happy man at Homestead, Miami. See if we can pull in our third place finisher, Brian Merle Jr. Brian, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I do.
Man, great job coming home on the podium. You showed some speed all night long. Was about up in the top five most of the race, and fuel mileage came down to it. You seemed to have enough in the tank, and then took a wild ride there at the end. But overall, you got to be happy with the race. And how much fuel did you have left in that tank?
I had 0.1 gallons, which was just one lap, or 0.1 laps. So not much.
Yeah, not much.
It was sputtering as I was flipping. I saw Kyle run out, so I just put the wood to it, and those other guys had a little bit more speed because they were able to carry it all the way around the corner there, and I guess Blake and I must have got together, and I went for a ride. A little mad at the situation, not at Blake. I wanted to really celebrate that one with my teammates, so getting the Neon Sim their first championship, that's pretty cool. Congratulations to Devin.
For sure, Devin coming home with the championship. But a good night for you. Strategy kind of seemed to be the play tonight as the race went green. Were you honestly expecting this race to go green flag to flag?
You know, I almost feel like this is a third place isn't much to some people, but I had a kind of a rough little go in the last couple of races. So when we came here in the unnamed league, I had a really good run going, had a lot of speed, was running top five, and got shoved in the wall. And we had no admin that night, no cautions happened that night. It was our first cautionless race. And I felt like I just kind of got a good race taken away from me. And so I knew I had decent speed coming in. I told Devin earlier in the day that I was going to be in the front. And I really didn't expect it like this, but this league's pretty clean. So the no caution thing, you know, I kind of expect anymore.
Well, congratulations again on the third place finish. I know Maria Madsen says, good job, Brian, up in the chat as well. So before I let you go, anyone you thank? Anyone you got a shout out here tonight?
Yeah, I got Tojo Mushrooms. They've been a big sponsor for Neon Sim Racing. Dev Sports Cards, McKinneyville Barbershop, Level Up Subs, Pelican Snowballs, Valley Automotive, and New Craft Fine Jewelry and Design. And I want to thank my mom for always watching, and you guys for broadcasting, and you know, Canuti and everybody that puts this thing on. It's a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun doing this every Tuesday and Wednesday night. So thank you for all that.
For sure. And
I got to thank my girlfriend. She hates this. She hates that I love this so much. So thank you, Lindsay, for somewhat putting up with this.
You know, it's funny. My current now wife, but when we were dating and I started getting into the racing, she's like, "You're always on that thing racing." Blah 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 blah. Then she realized at least she knows where I am. So
Exactly. I'm sitting here, I'm sweating. I had some, had my heart rate was elevated on that last lap. I just wanted that podium so bad. First one of the season. I finished fourth, I think, once or twice. So, this is why we do it. We do it for the excitement, and it's the next best thing during the off season of racing.
for sure. And then we'll see you in 2 weeks on Wednesday night in the All Star race.
Yes, sir.
Well, congrats again on the podium. I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you, bud.
That was your third place finisher, Brian Merle Jr. Let's bring in your second place finisher, Colin Willems. Colin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Josh.
Man, your profile there says just here to play spoiler, and you almost did it, but ran out of gas right there, coming to the stripe there. That's got to be disappointing. Did you know that the fuel was going to be that close, and did you try to save any there at the end?
I knew it was going to be tight. I had run, I think it was 34 laps the first and 34 the second, knowing I only had to run 32 in the third. Figured it'd be no problem. Got down to 4 or 5 to go. Realized might be a problem. Went into save mode, but it was too late at that point, which just marks the second Homestead race in a row in the trucks where I've run out of fuel in the last lap and given up the win. If any of our viewers remember iOS last year.
What's that? No, I'm kidding. No, but a phenomenal race. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Junior a minute ago. With the fuel situation, and it was, were you surprised to see the race go flag to flag, green flag racing?
Not with the group that we've got, to be honest, Josh. We've got a big group of talented drivers here. Usually, if we can get through the first 3 or 4 laps, I'm usually pretty confident that we're going to run the whole thing flag to flag. So, no, I got to throw a shout out to everybody in this league for everything they do every week.
Yeah, and coming into the race, did you have a strategy? Did you know kind of where the fuel run was going to be? And did you try to save any at the beginning of the race too?
I did the first end just to feel it out. And like I said, I got through 34 laps, so felt that, with 2 sets of tires, doing 2 stops, if I could go 34 the first end, I should be good for the rest. And that's, I guess, the frustrating part, because that was the plan, and it looked like after both pit stops that it would work out, but ended up short at the end. Disappointing, but super happy for Devin, super happy for Junior. Just a great finish to a great season for these guys.
For sure. And I know Cassie says, way to go, Colin, in the chat as well. So before we let you go, anyone you got to shout out? Anyone you got to thank particularly?
Absolutely. Got to shout out Cassie. Hope she lets me sleep in the bed tonight after that and not stuck on the couch. But I got to thank everybody at YXU. Brian Nudie for putting on a fantastic leagues between this and the Xfinity. He's doing a fantastic job. I know I love giving him a hard time, but he knows I love him. He knows he's doing a great job. So big shout out to him. Shout out to you, Josh. Love racing with you every week. And don't mind chatting with you in here either. Will Witt, Cody Moore, Nick Mailer, the rest of the YXU crew. I want to give a big shout out to Devin Pacino for getting it done tonight. Junior for having a hell of a run. Everybody for giving me lots of room. Everything was really clean tonight. Good run. Just, happy with everybody. Happy with everything. Shout out to everybody.
There you go. And now you're gonna have to give Brian some crap because he hasn't changed the rules in a while. So we'll have to talk to him about that after the race. But again,
it's too late, Josh. The race is over. We like to wait till mid-race to make the change. Remember?
But hey, we got an all-star race coming up, and who knows what the rules are going to be in that.
Who knows? It could be different from the green flag to the first yellow flag. They may change. We'll have to see.
But again, congrats on the podium, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Have a good night.
You have your second place finisher, Colin Willems. Let's bring in not just your race winner, but your champion, Devin Pacino. Devin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, brother.
Man, congratulations, not just on the win, but on the championship as well. I mean, that was a hard-fought one. You knew that the points coming in, where you had to be, and you exceeded where you needed to be, and came home with the win on fuel mileage. That's got to feel pretty good as well.
Yeah, it was a long race. We kind of had to play for it to go green. Had a blast racing with Kyle out there. He was really quick. But I found out in practice that fuel run was about 31 to 33 laps. So I knew if we went green, it was going to be really tight. We were letting off on entry super early. I was actually cutting the engine off on entry in 1 and 3 every lap. And we go 34, 34. And once we got to about 5 to go, we were lapping half to the good, and I decided to turn it on, and I think we picked a good time to do it. Hate that Colin ran out last time we raced here. He did the same thing, but super happy to wrap up a season like this for sure.
It always feels good, not just to get the last win of the season, but to get that championship as well. Talking about the whole season and all, you're probably one of the most consistent drivers. That's why you're able to stay up in the points lead for most of the season. What was the secret to success this season, staying up and clean all season long?
Atlee asked me the same thing last week too in the Xfinity Series. Never been a good qualifier, but somehow was able to get 6 poles. And I think starting up front really pays dividends in this series because we just have such a clean group of guys that we're not going to get many cautions. So if you get into that hole early, it really kills you. So I would say the 6 poles definitely went a long way. I lost a bunch on strategy, and I didn't help myself last week at Talladega, so we were able to get through those. But I would say just keeping the nose on it, qualifying up front, definitely went a long way when you have a group like this.
Well, you come home with the inaugural Truck Series championship here in the SCSRA. That's got to feel really good. So again, congrats on the championship. And before we let you go, I know we got some shout outs in the chat from you. Henry Sanchez says the champ. He's talking about, he said you had no gas left in the tank, but you were able to do some burnouts. And then Bailey Cross said that she wants chips with the dip, and you got to work on those burnouts. But way to go, the champ is here.
Yeah, the tires were cooked. I wanna thank Bailey and Henry. They're 2 of my best friends. They're brothers of mine. I also want to shout out Level Up Subs. They were on the truck all season. My buddy Bernie and Beth, they had their first son today, Bryson. So that's awesome for them. Get Bryson a little championship on his birthday. That's really cool. He's been super supportive of it. Didn't even really know what this was, and I told him about it, and he jumped on board. Big NASCAR fan, so this really opened it up to him. So Level Up Subs, if you need to get any sports cards created, go to Level Up, best in the business. Think Dev Sports Cards, new craft found jewelry design. They've been with me since the league we used to run. I'm not going to name the name. A couple years ago, they've been on for a while, and can't thank you, Josh, for doing this every Tuesday, Atlee every Wednesday, Dayton, everyone at Intensity. We definitely wouldn't have as much fun doing this if we couldn't go back and watch ourselves. So it's a team effort here, and we got a pretty strong group going into next season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to running Wednesday nights next season and seeing where this league takes off next season as well. I know we're going to be doing some recruiting, and hey, you're in the All-Star race for sure now, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun at Las Vegas in 2 weeks. So again, congratulations on the championship. Since this is a new league and we're not going to name the league before, even though Colin already had done that. Let's I'm gonna say let's change the pace, and congrats on your championship, and let's see what you can do next season.
I appreciate it, Josh. One more shout out to Junior. Junior, he has come such a long way. I told him if he can have a clean race. He was in my tire tracks all night, so I want to shout out to Junior for his podium. Love that for him. I've had a blast running with him, so I didn't want to forget Junior because he had a heck of a race tonight. So I really appreciate it.
He surely did. He ran up in the top 5 most of the race, had a great battle with Joe Wright towards the center of the race, and man, it was a lot of fun watching him improve through the season, and I look forward to seeing what next season brings for the entire Neon team.
Yeah, Neon next year, watch out for us. I appreciate it, Josh. You're the man.
And a lot of people don't know this, but Neon is kind of a little satellite team of Intensity as well, because I believe that you'd have the Neon Intensity team on Monday nights. Is that correct?
On Mondays, yeah, we get to race with Atman, Logan, D-Wright, just a lot of good people within our little group. Look forward to it every week, as I know you do as well.
I do. I had to throw the shout out in there as well. So, again, congrats, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
So there you have it. Your champion, Devin Buccino, here tonight at Homestead, Miami. Again, congratulations to him and the entire Neon Racing team, making a big jump having a great finish here tonight. Again, we want to thank everybody who stuck around with us to the end here on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter at Intensity Broad 1. Don't forget about our web store for all your Intensity merchandise needs. We've got hats, we've got t-shirts, we've got coffee mugs, stickers, not just of Intensity Broadcasting, but we also have some stuff from SCSRA. Plus, we have some new merch that's going to be dropping pretty soon. Another different SCSRA t-shirt. So check that out. That's at intensitybroadcasting.com. Also, Devin Buccino being the winner, he's going to get himself a free piece of swag from Intensity Broadcasting. So again, congratulations to him tonight. And as always, as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, thank you for joining us. Check us out for live iRacing 7 nights a week. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would also say, over and out.